What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy Mello, coming back with this video about how 4 ways that God speaks to you. A lot of people think that God speaks or he's supposed to speak, a certain way, but you can't limit the way he speaks. A lot of people want to hear from him like this big, this big voice, this shouting type of voice from heaven or something, but he's not going to speak to you that way, unfortunately. You're going to have to learn how he speaks and study how he speaks, and then incline your ear so you can hear how he speaks, because he's speaking all the time, especially in the spiritual realm. But you have to get spiritual, and it takes time to really get spiritual. But I'm, learning how to hear the voice of God more clear in my life, and I just wanted to give you the game on it. So I got 4 things written down, and I got some alternative things written down too. So I'm going to tell you those things. One way that he speaks is through man. Obviously, he's going to speak through his earthly vessels, his prophets, his evangelists, different things like that. Don't get caught up with titles and different things like that. But I'm just saying it speaks on these things in the Bible. So I'm mentioning, different positions in the body of Christ. Another way is through his word. He's always going to speak through his word, He's always going to speak through his word, you know what I'm saying? So if you open the Bible, you're going to get a word, you know what I'm saying? So I got third on this list is signs and billboards, you know what I'm saying? He speaks through many signs and billboards and, different things that are up right in our face that we miss every day. A lot of times God's trying to get your attention. You might see a sign that says stop, God may be telling you to stop, slow down, because a lot of times we're always on the go, we're always moving, we always think we got to be doing this and that, but we really need to be praying and fasting and trying to hear from God, you know what I'm saying? Because he's going to speak to you, man, when you desperately want to hear from him. You just got to show him your effort. Another thing, the 4th thing I got on this list, which is really sad, but God's got to use it regardless, is death. God is going to speak through death. And for a Bible example, I would say Sodom and Gomorrah, you know what I'm saying? I believe God was talking to Abraham. He said, if you can find anybody that is not in sin, I'll spare the city, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but, and Abraham couldn't tell him anything, and what did God end up doing? The spirit of death came to Sodom and Gomorrah and wiped everybody out, you know what I'm saying? And there's many examples of God using death to get people's attention, you know what I'm saying? But people fail to realize it. I mean, God using death in this time and era of life, I would say he's speaking, basically, how he's speaking is, allowing certain people to die in certain neighborhoods and in certain, groups and gangs and different things. He's allowing people to die to get your attention. It's not that God don't love you or love them, or it's just that people gotta die. It's to get your attention. It's to wake you up. It's to get you back on track to reality and what really matters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll speak about that too, about death on a whole nother video and how God uses that. But that's really all I got on this list. Also, for additional or alternative thing that I have on this list that God speaks and how he speaks is friends, like past friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, more or less, your past friends are still bound by Satan, man. They haven't been saved, born again. They never repented or anything. So it's like, more or less, he'll bring them back and use them. He will, God, because the enemy is under Satan. The enemy is under God's control. Satan is under God's control. So God will use the enemy to speak through your friends. And you have to catch what God is saying, even through your friends, because I just say God because God's using the enemy to